Step into the time machine. Let's travel through the past. Mr. Gold's gonna take you on a history blast. From ancient civilizations to the world wars. Get ready, hold tight.
Hey guys, in this video I want to cover how to study history. What is the best way to study history, or what really separates a student of history from a non-student. So to start with, probably the first way many of us are introduced to history is by reading. Like you gain literacy, and then somewhere in like third or fourth grade your teacher gives you a book about Christopher Columbus or about the Pilgrims for Thanksgiving or something, and they tell you read about this or study this and answer some questions at the end of the book. Or at least that's how I was introduced to it. The teacher would give us page numbers and say read this, answer the questions at the end. And that's sort of a good way to be a student, but I would encourage you guys to study primary sources that interest you. So go to the nonfiction section of a library and look up something that you care about. If it's baseball, or if it's Hollywood, or if it's anything really, whatever you're interested in. If you just like to look at maps, go pick up a map. But go to the nonfiction section and just look up anything that interests you. Find experts in that area. So that would usually be like someone that has an education in that area or someone that participates in that area, and see if they have any thoughts on the primary sources that you're reading. So like if you read a book about baseball, maybe go watch Ken Burns's documentary on baseball, or go look up like a baseball historian and see what they think about the same things that you've read. And then try to find biases or weaknesses in their opinion. Make sure that everything that you have seen is factual. Check your own biases and try to just stick to the facts. That's a good place to start. Then also read about things that are connected to what you are interested in. So let's just keep on the baseball example. If you're reading about baseball, then maybe you'll look up, where did baseball come from? Did it come from the Civil War? Did it come from a certain place in America? And then research that place or that event that created baseball. And now you're getting into bigger themes and more of a horizontal history. Instead of just going vertical throughout baseball, you're going horizontal, and you're seeing, how does baseball connect to the country, or to a war, to people? If you're researching the Declaration of Independence, maybe read a biography about Thomas Jefferson or another one of the founding fathers that participated in the Declaration of Independence, so you get the full picture and start to become an expert on your topic. Another way besides reading would be attending classes and lectures. If you're fortunate enough to attend school, like totally reach out to people that teach history at that school. If you want to pursue history deeper, like take electives in history. Don't just take the basic required U.S. history, world history. Take like a European history class, take a women's history class, take African American studies class, take Latin American history. Like take all the history you can if it's free, or if you have a scholarship, or if you're in college and that's what you're going to study, take as much as possible. And then question your teachers, ask them. Most historians love to talk about history. That's what they love to do. So more likely you're going to find too much information than not enough information if you talk to a historian. Visit museums and libraries, historical sites. All these places are going to have historical information for free. Some museums will charge money, but it's usually worth it if you take lots of pictures and spend a lot of time there. So just ask, like go to your libraries, go to your museums, your historical sites, and usually there's someone that'll talk to you about history there. Also, they'll have artifacts that you can look at and research. And then I want to skip ahead to one slide. So once you find these historical sites, if you're showing promise in history and you speak the language, a lot of times they'll let you volunteer. or even hire you for a job there. When I was in high school and college, I started as volunteering at 2 different historical societies. Sometimes it's usually older people. I'm not trying to be prejudicial here, but like if you go to most historical societies, it's gonna be like retired people or like people that are old. If you come in with like a young mind and like a strong body and just volunteer to like paint something or help carry something or clean something up, they're gonna love you and they're gonna keep you around, and you'll just absorb so much by being there. And then you can work your way up from there. You can also use online forums, which are a little bit more messy than the historical sites. I would say that should be a last resort, but also you can follow historians and professors on social media. You can follow teachers, anyone that just teaches history, and most of the time you can reach out and they'll help you. This is one that I've never done and I will never do, but reenactment groups. There's a lot of war reenactment groups or like Renaissance reenactment groups, and it can get weird pretty quickly, but sometimes there's good information in there if that's how you learn best. If you're a kinesthetic learner, that might be a good way for you to get some hands-on practice. Like sometimes they'll have Civil War reenactments and they'll tell you the battle, and people will reenact it with full uniforms and guns and all that. Next, documentaries, podcasts, movies, audiobooks. You can learn a lot from just watching something on Netflix. If that's how you best absorb information, there's a ton of documentaries out there about any history topic. There's audiobooks. If you have Audible, there's tons of free audio. They call it the Great Courses on Audible, and you can just go through any history that you want. Some documentaries are a little bit lower quality, but something's better than nothing. And even with like history movies, like if you go watch Red Tails or one of these war movies, it might not be historically accurate, but you'll at least see the setting. You'll see like usually the locations and the weapons are pretty historically accurate, even if like the dialogue is a bit exaggerated. So watch lots of history movies in your free time. Get those audiobooks, get the LibriVox, all that stuff, podcasts, all great sources. And I have a picture of some of the podcasts here that are good. And I'll probably drop some links in the comments or in the description for more. And then finally, write and collect and discuss history. So if you're living through an event that is meaningful, like for example, like if you're a part of a protest or if you're part of a event that's going on that you know is important, write down what happens. Take pictures of what happens. People will usually give you feedback on your writing, and they'll say, oh, you should do this way, or like you should take pictures this way, and you'll grow in your skill. But just start somewhere. Start with like a journal, record what happens in your neighborhood, and then if you get to be involved in like national history or things that are going to be globally relevant, then definitely record all of that. Interview people who have experienced history. If you know someone that like fought in a war, Vietnam War, World War II, if they're still around, interview them, record their voice, record their stories. If they have any artifacts from the war, take pictures or collect their artifacts. One of my favorite experiences was interviewing World War II veterans when I was in college. And I learned so much from talking to those guys and seeing they brought in like their jackets that they wore in the war. They showed pictures of their planes, of their fallen comrades that they lost. They had so many war medals, things like that. So if you get a chance to collect some actual history or like interview people that experienced the events, go for it. It never hurts to save like photos, clothing, weapons, because that's a part of our story as humans, and someone needs to save the stories. So that's really the value that historians add, is that we save the stories, we keep them passed on to the future generations, we keep things safe. learning how to handle artifacts so you don't damage them, things like that. So that would be my advice to you guys if you're wondering, okay, I'm interested in history, what do I do next? All these are examples of what you can do to participate in history. I hope this was helpful to you guys, and I hope you have a great day.
Step into the time machine. Let's travel through the past. Mr. Gold's gonna take you on a history blast.